This episode of the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast is brought to you by Groundhog Day is an event, not a business strategy. Are you ready to finally solve those pesky issues that keep holding back your business success and never seem to go away? Embrace the power of the S.P.R.I.N.G formula that unearths the issues and opportunities burrowed beneath the surface, and grow your business so you thrive from your intersection of your brilliance and your passion. Claim your copy today at www.thegroundhogbook.com. Welcome to the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I am your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. Right now, we are speaking with Gail Dixon. She is the founder of what's known as the Heart's Voice movement, and as the leader of that movement, she is committed to creating a future where the heart's voice, as she calls it, is the universal language that heals the world. And she's about to tell us much more. So with that, Gail, welcome aboard.
Hi, Adam. Great to be with you.
Awesome. So let's get right into this. And I know that you'll elaborate upon what I just shared. The first question is, how does the work you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and or the world at large?
Well, Adam, I talk about speaking from the heart and listening from the heart. And when people do that, they speak from an essential voice that I think unites them with Source and with the great unity that we're meant to be. And when people can find the words to express their true essence and make connection with others who are doing the same, we weave together that sacred community, that sacred union that we're all meant to grow into.
Yeah. So that's awesome. What is it that you actually do?
I actually do 2 things. One is that I listen deeply with great love to people as they are trying to express or clarify their mission, meaning, or identity, and then reflect back to them the powerful words that allow them to take that passion and purpose out into being. Many times we have something inside that we just can't find the words to put around. And my gift is naming, framing, and claiming with the power of words. So I do that. And listening is just as important as giving the voice. And the other thing I do is work with folks on building movements and doing the marketing that helps them to reach the masses.
Right. So that's great. And now, in your experience, what are 3 of the most common questions that people ask you? In other words, like the frequently asked questions about what it is that you do.
Well, one of the things that people say when they come to me, and it is people coming in real pain, which is, change has happened in my life. So they're saying, I don't know who I am now that my kids are grown, now that I'm not in that job, now that I'm a widow, now that I'm retired. So they're searching for, what does my life mean now? Another is, why can't I get people to listen to me? Why am I not connecting with my business, the right clients in my business, with the audience I'm meant to reach? And a third is, why can I not make people see how important this is? And that's for people who have a a real mission and movement.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. Now, what are 3 of the questions you wish people would ask when they're
I
considering getting involved with you, working with you, aligning with you, whatever it is?
I I first wish people would ask, how do I know when I've found my purpose? So that they'd ask, what makes me know that I've found my purpose? I wish they'd ask, how can I put all of the pieces of me together into one thing? I deal with a lot of business owners who say, I do this and I do this and I do this. I have these 9 different services, and I don't know how to say what it is I do. And I wish they'd ask me, what can I do to speak and listen with love?
Yeah. Wow, that's profound. And that's got me thinking a little bit here. So let's shift gears just a little bit. And let me ask a few things that will help our listeners get to know you a little bit better. First of all, what would people who know you be surprised to learn about you?
People who know me might be surprised to know that I walked on hot coals at a Tony Robbins Unleashing the Power Within workshop. And the reason they would be surprised about that is that I was burned very badly by fire as a young woman. And so have a lot of aversion to that. So the fact that I walked on those hot coals was a big deal. And I think that people would be surprised to hear that.
Wow. What do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
I hope that they say that I made them feel seen, heard, and valued, that I listened without judgment and spoke with compassion.
Okay. If you could go back in time and change one thing you've done, one thing that's happened, what would it be and why would you select that thing?
I would have started doing this work that I'm now doing in my retirement years lots earlier.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time putting forth other people's messages, working on other people's missions and supporting that, and did great work doing it.
I'm
and
sure you
not
did.
that didn't make an impact, but it wasn't the message that I feel like God put me on this earth and the meaning that God put me on this earth to make. So I guess I'd say I would have heeded the call earlier.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. You have folks like yourself who are so skilled at helping others be heard that it's like, you could take everything you know and just do it for yourself.
Exactly.
And my praise to you and kudos to you, because you found a way to make that transition, regardless of whether it was early or late. It was it happened at the time it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. And I think that for me, I used to tell myself that I was perfectly content in life to be a well-trusted number 2. And I did that really, really well. And there's a little bit of scariness in being the number 1. And
There is.
not having any place, it's like, oh, wait, I don't have anybody's permission to ask when I do this. And I don't have any. And I think that though I think I did some courageous things, there was a safety in being number 2 that I held on to for a long time. And so,
I can see where you're coming from.
I would have taken the leap sooner. That's what I would have done differently.
Yeah. And I think another thing that holds folks back when it comes to that is that there's sort of a misalignment that in one place in their life, they're now going to be number 1. In other places of their life, they still may be number two.
Exactly.
It's like, well, what happened to my full promotion? Like, how am I going to claim to be this when over here I'm this and that and vice versa? My advice, because I've been there myself, is just own it.
Exactly.
Hey, I've got ventures of my own, and I also have clients. That's the way it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's more than one way to make money. One way to make money is to have a client get paid to render a service. Another way to make money is to have a venture and capitalize it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Any coach who understands wealth creation would understand the principle and be able to articulate it of multiple streams of income. That's what you have going on.
You betcha.
Pat yourself on the back because you've taken a step.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, what famous person, alive or dead, would you like to have a conversation with, and what would you ask them?
I would love to have a conversation with Amanda Gorman.
Okay.
She is the young woman who was the poet at the Biden inauguration.
Yeah, I know who she is.
Who was so compelling and powerful. And I would ask her how she came to hear and claim her voice at such a young age. Where was it that she found the courage? How was it that she listened to that voice in herself? I'd really like to know about her process because she speaks in such a powerful voice with a wisdom that we would associate with someone much, much older than she.
Yeah.
And so I really would like to know how she came to hear and own and speak that voice.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, I heard the poetry reading myself, and I thought it was very good. So, and you think about it, somebody particularly at her age and her place has a lot stacked against her. People who want to either silence her entirely, or who are happy for her to speak words as long as it's their words.
What?
Think of how many children are taught you need to assert yourself. Don't let anybody ever push you around. And then they go to Thanksgiving dinner and their nasty old great aunt, whose name they can barely remember, just gets in their face and screams at them and calls them names. It's like, but except for great Aunt Gretel, honor and respect her at all times because she's your great aunt.
Exactly.
Like, really? What about? Yeah. So and if I were to say, get out of my face, old lady. If she started that with me, say, how dare you? Wait a minute. Somebody was being abusive toward me. I stood up for myself. Isn't that what you teach me? This is where I bring this up because you mentioned the time it took for you to find your mission in doing the work that you do with the Heart's Voice movement. That you would have started earlier, the number one versus the number two thing, and transitioning from one to the other. Mm-hmm. And I think that some of this comes from the confusion that we get, not only as children, but even as adults sometimes. In the adult world, that can translate into, Gail, you should raise your rates 50%. Because you are being undercharged. So what I want you to do is I want you to contact all your clients and raise their rates by 50%. Except me. Oh, no, by the way, I better still get my discount.
Exactly.
Or we're done.
Exactly. And, I think that's really, Adam, that's some of what I talk about when I'm talking about the Heart's Voice, which I think is that voice of honesty and authenticity and integrity, and that stance of for the common good.
Yes.
That voice that comes from love, that we get, the voices and the messages we hear in the world come from so many sources other than love and truth. They come from greed and fear and lack and anger and division and competition. And when the messages come from those sources, they're hard to sort out. They're hard to respond to, and they take us to unhealthy places. When the messages come from the deep, sacred essence that we all carry inside us, from the heart, then we can rely on them. And the messages we give ourselves are just as critical as the messages we give other people. You know, sometimes we are much more unkind in our self-talk than we would ever be in the way we talk to somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of us have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what motivates you to, inspires you to keep going when you face a tough time or face a challenge?
Well, for me, it is really recognizing uh, and hearing from people how powerful and important my gift of listening and reflecting the right words to express is, and recognizing that I really don't think that's me out of my head. I think it's me as a channel from source. And so recognizing that I have been given a sacred gift and I'm meant to use it. And that if I don't press on through the I'm tired, I'm frustrated, got a bad response, that I am somehow dishonoring that gift.
Right. Right. Okay. So, before we wrap up here, I know you have a special gift for our listeners. Actually, you have two, and we'll get to those in a minute. But in general, right now, what is one action you want our listeners to take as soon as they finish listening to us today?
Well, I'm going to take a little privilege here, and I'm going to ask for two. One is to commit to speaking and listening from the heart. Just make that commitment. Tell yourself you're going to do that, and hold yourself to that. And then the second is to join me in my open Facebook group, which is the Heart's Voice Movement on Facebook.
Okay. All right. So that second thing is what I was going to get to in a moment here. I just wanted to, so I wanted to emphasize that what we're looking for is for people to do something that's going to move them forward. And I think you also answered that question accurately. So before we go, and again, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I know you have a little something for us, and there's two items. First of which is to join your Facebook group. And the group is called the Heart's Voice Movement. Should be easy to find. I'll read the URL. It's www.facebook.com/groups/Hearts Voice Movement.
Right.
And then you also have for us the 5 essential questions, which is located at heartsvoicemovement.com, which is your website.
Correct.
/5 essential questions.
Mhm.
So we'll make sure to let me pop that up on my screen here right now, and that way all of our viewers can see it. So here, pull it up here real quick. One of the beauties of using StreamYard, by the way, and that's why we decided to use it for Brilliance Plus Passion, is the ability to quickly add things on the fly. So watch this. Watch this, everybody. There's a link to the 5 essential questions. So learn to listen and speak through your heart's voice so that your heart print is one of connection, compassion, and contribution. You write this so well. So basically what happens is within this special report, this special gift, Gail provides 5 essential questions to ask yourself that will guide you in discovering the unique contribution you are meant to make in the world and finding the words to communicate authentically and powerfully in every day of your life. That almost sounds like the mission of this podcast, which is highlighting folks like you and how you make the world a better place by being part of it. So I love that we have that alignment. We have that synchronicity. So for those who are watching the video version, you can see it right there on your screen. I'll read it out loud for those tuning in from home or on audio. That's heartsvoicemovement.com/5 essential questions. You can also find that on our website at brilliancepluspassion.com on the post for this episode.
For those listening, make sure that they use the number 5 and not
the number 5. Yes. Yep, the number 5. Absolutely. So with all that, I want to thank you so much, Gail Dixon, for being with us today. It's been an honor, and believe me, an education.
Thank you so much, Adam. Great to be with you.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance plus Passion podcast.